This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And good afternoon. We are back with Wyoming Sports Talk today. Taking the day off yesterday just simply for the fact, weather-related, we postponed the show due to weather.
Yeah, due to a false blizzard.
Well, but, it's snowing right now. We got a nice little snow shower going on
Apparently
outside.
it's a snow squall, so it's nothing much.
All right, well, we're here, and we're ready to do our thing. It's being brought to you by Marv's Plumbing Heating at 1515 Logan Avenue. We also want to thank Mondello's Pizzeria at 1507 Stillwater Avenue. Sweet D in the Greenway Commons, open 7 days a week. First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue, open Monday through Friday. Check them out, especially their 27-month CD rate right now at 3.1% annual percentage yield. So, again, that is going on over at First Tier Bank. Lennox Auto Body, the main auto and truck repair center over on Dunn Avenue, the Auto Glass and Detail Center on Pershing Boulevard. Medicap Pharmacy. For all your pharmaceutical needs, open Monday through Saturday over on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Platte Valley Bank, 2 banking locations for you. Again, banking the old-fashioned way, you, me, customer service, or you want to do the high-tech thing, they offer that too, and everything in between. Platte Valley Bank over on Vanda High and at the corner of College in Pershing. Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. The lot is filled with 19s. You definitely want to get behind the wheel of a new Kia today. Sensational models on the floor for you to check out. Kia of Cheyenne, talking to my good friends AJ and the crew there. They will put you behind the wheel of the car of your dreams today. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range, right across from Menards. Ray and Cindy's Place. I want to say thanks to Cindy and Alex. What a great job they did yesterday for us here as we put on a nice little luncheon feast. As Chick-fil-A, again, provided some delicious eats, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Chick-fil-A, corner Windmill and Del Range, right across from Menards. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service on Highway 30, your exclusive home for Jacob RVs, fifth wheels, and travel trailers. Still some 18s on the lot. Gotta go. So you're going to see some sensational savings right now. Great financing rates also available for the 19s, too. So it's all happening at Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service on Highway 30. Taco John's of Cheyenne. If you don't feel like cooking tonight, you want to load up on, let's say, 6-pack and a pound, well, you definitely want to check out Taco John's of Cheyenne. And we get things underway with our scoreboard. It's brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. Here's Nick.
It's a light one for NHL, as it is at least first-round playoffs. As 5 games were in action yesterday, 3 for tonight. We'll start with the Boston Bruins at TD Garden. They will take on the Toronto Maple Leafs in their first-round matchup. That game could be seen on NBC Sports Network. On USA Network, Washington Capitals, the defending Stanley Cup champions, they will be at home at Capital One Arena in the nation's capital. They will take on the Carolina Hurricanes. And last but not least, on NBC Sports Network, the late contest, Calgary Flames at home at Scotiabank Saddledome. They will play host to the Colorado Avalanche. That's what's happening in NHL action for tonight.
Major League Baseball. Let's run down the finals that we have in here. Day games. Cincinnati beats up on the Marlins 5-0 at Great American Ballpark. The Athletics with a 8-5 win at Oriole Park at Camden Yards as they defeat the O's. It was, matter of fact, Chris Davis homering again, not once but twice for the Athletics. He is on a tear here in the month of April. It was the Indians blanking the Motor City Kitties of Detroit 3-0 at Comerica. Dodgers lose again at Busch to the Cardinals 11-7. Mariners remain hot. They're 13-2, final in 10 at Kauffman Stadium as they down the Royals 7-6. Games getting underway when we get out of here. Blue Jays at the Red Sox, Mets and the Braves. It will be the Pirates at the Cubs. 7 o'clock game. We'll have the Padres at the Diamondbacks at Chase Field. Rockies and the Giants tonight in San Francisco. John Gray, he'll be opposed by the Shark, Jeff Schmarzda, as the Rockies and the Giants battle for who's going to be the least futile team in the National League's Western Conference or Western Division. From the NBA scoreboard, done. Toast regular season is history. And matter of fact, speaking of NBA, we'll get a chance to talk about the Denver Nuggets after we take a timeout. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Hi, I'm Alex White, tea master at Pure Leaf. When I make tea, everything I know goes into it.
Time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast. Only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range.
Cheyenne's oldest coin dealer and supplier, the Coin Shop, is proud to serve the community since 1982. Trade or sell your gold, silver, and other precious metals. Visit with David and the knowledgeable staff for a fair and honest assessment of your valuables. Located at 510 West Lincoln Way. Call them today at 778-7196 to schedule your personal consultation.
Are you tired of paying ATM fees? Hi, this is Rick Flood, president of Platte Valley Bank in Cheyenne. Use your Platte Valley Bank ATM or Visa debit card at any ATM anywhere. We won't charge you a fee on our end, and we'll reimburse any fee you incur at any other ATM. That's right, no ATM fees at Platte Valley Bank. How about that? Platte Valley Bank, 3310 North College Drive and 421 Van High Avenue, or pvbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Community banking for you.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
Well, the wise for today, cloudy and blustery with a chance of snow showers. Look for a daytime high of 30 degrees. Winds will be northerly at 20 to 25, gusting as high as 40. For tonight, mostly cloudy and blustery with our low drop down to 17 degrees. Northerly winds at 15 to 20, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, Friday, it's going to be partly sunny. Expected daytime high near 35. Friday night, mostly cloudy with our low dropping down to 21 degrees.
You're listening to Cheyenne's new Sports Talk Authority. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today on AM 1480 KRAE.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. I'm Larry Prowati. Across the way, Nick Prowati. And we bring on our first guest. He is TJ McBride, Nuggets beat writer for Mile High Sports. TJ, thank you so much for joining us here on a Thursday. And I guess right out of the box, happy on a Thursday for the Denver Nuggets. Of course, they made it exciting last night in the can against the Minnesota Timberwolves, but nonetheless, they are the number 2 seed out of the West.
Yeah, the Nuggets have to be as happy as they possibly can be right now because not only did they lock in that 2 seed, but Portland somehow, with just 6 players on their roster last night, found a way to beat the Kings like 136 to 131. With that win that Portland also got, Denver now will not have to face the Utah Jazz, the Golden State Warriors, or the Houston Rockets until the Western Conference Finals if they get that far. So not only are they the 2 seed, not only do they get home court advantage in the first 2 rounds, but they're only going to have to face the Spurs and then the winner of the Portland Trail Blazers and Oklahoma City Thunder in the second round. So their path to a Western Conference Finals appearance has become significantly easier than it would have been just 48 hours ago.
But it's certainly not the easiest route, though, or at least, again, no real contest in the Western Conference you can kind of classify as easy. Even with this 2-7 matchup between the Denver Nuggets and the San Antonio Spurs, I mean, you got to go with, non-experience with the Denver Nuggets compared to couple decades of experience with the at least San Antonio Spurs led by Greg Popovich. At least he knows what he's doing out there, so you certainly can't, at least if you're the Denver Nuggets and Mike Malone, you can't take the San Antonio Spurs very lightly in this first round.
There is no taking them lightly. This Nuggets team knows exactly what they're getting into with this Spurs team. I mean, this is a group of guys that have been able to beat the Nuggets in San Antonio for almost a decade. They have lost 13 straight games in San Antonio at this point. So it's not going to be easy. It definitely isn't. But this is also not the Spurs of the old. This is not the Spurs that we have seen for the past 7-8 years of just postseason dominance with the guys that they have had around for so long. This is not the same defensive-minded Spurs team that they once had. There is going to be a lot more of an interesting thought process as the Nuggets go into this, because what kind of a Spurs team are you going to get? Are they going to slow it down? Are they going to try and play just heavy offensive basketball with DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge? We really just don't know what they're going to look like in the playoffs yet, because this is a very Greg Popovich Spurs team. So it's going to be a very interesting situation, but one thing I know for sure is that they will not be taking the Spurs lightly. That is without a doubt.
Nonetheless, 1 through 8, though, TJ, in the West right now, any team capable of winning any, first round. I mean, even the Clippers to a certain degree. Everybody's going to say the Warriors are going to get into playoff mode. We all know that. But again, you match up 1 through 8, 2 through 7, 3 through 6. Anyone is capable of popping an upset.
Yeah, you're definitely not wrong. And when I start really looking for a potential upset opportunity, it's hard for me to look past that Houston Rockets-Utah Jazz series. Because the Utah Jazz, man, that team is defensively capable of causing just chaos for that Houston Rockets team. Yes, the Rockets are just absolutely out of this world, and James Harden honestly should probably be the co-MVP with Giannis. He's been that good this year. But they have the actual players and the right defensive system to potentially slow that Rockets team and really push them out in the first round. That would not surprise me. So if I'm looking for an upset, it is that Rockets Jazz series for sure.
Shifting back though to the Denver Nuggets, TJ, where something that we've asked Denver AP sports writer Pat Graham, and I'll ask you the same thing, TJ. For this Denver Nuggets team, again, it is a team that is fresh into the playoffs. They've been away at least from tasting playoff action for quite some time. Get a new bunch of what we saw compared to the 2012-2013 season for the Nuggets. Does Denver have enough, again, as we're looking at the first round and obviously Western Conference Finals going to be at least a little ways away for the Denver Nuggets? Does this team have enough? Does it have enough pieces in there to make it to the Western Conference Finals? Does it have enough pieces to do, I dare even say and ask, does it have enough to even represent the West in the NBA Finals?
I mean, they do have enough talent to make the Western Conference Finals. When you start talking about potentially facing off with the Warriors, who will have home court advantage in the Western Conference Finals, I have almost no faith that Denver can win that series. I mean, yes, there's always the opportunity of a freak injury. Steph Curry just had a mild ankle sprain in the last game of the season a couple of days ago. So there are opportunities to where maybe Denver just kind of lucks into a chance to beat a potentially shorthanded Warriors team, maybe. But they do absolutely have the talent to find themselves in the Western Conference Finals. I don't know if there's a real argument that Denver isn't a potential top 3 team in the West. Yes, the Jazz are right there. Yes, the Thunder are right there. But the Nuggets are right there with them. The talent level is there. The consistency is there. The win profile is there. And the thing that everyone keeps bringing up is their general inexperience in the playoffs, which is absolutely carries quite a bit of merit with it. My thought when it comes to the inexperience is that from being around this team and around these guys, there is we're young and dumb enough to not go in there scared mentality. They might just go in there playing themselves. They might just try and be the best version of themselves and not actually play into the idea that young teams don't win playoff series. Young teams also don't win on the road, but Denver had 20 road wins this season. Young teams don't win division games, but Denver has division wins this year. So I do think that there is a potential that the Nuggets just go in there feeling like there is no pressure on them, and they absolutely perform in a way that we had not expected a team without experience to do so. We won't know until it gets there. There's a whole lot of variables, but in terms of talent and in terms of the mindset, I think they have the right combination to make things extremely interesting in the Western Conference playoffs.
We're talking with TJ McBride, Nuggets beat writer for Mile High Sports. Going back to the playoff situation, and again, you brought up a very good point. And if everything goes according to Hoyle in the first round, we'll have 1 versus 4. That would be the Warriors and the Rockets, even though, there could be an upset. But also 2-2-3 would be the Denver Nuggets and the Portland Trailblazers. Again, I'm stepping ahead of myself right now, but what the Trailblazers did last night really probably boosted a little more confidence in these young Denver Nuggets, because if the Nuggets can get by San Antonio, their odds of beating Portland are a lot better than matching up with a Houston Rockets team.
Yeah, there is no denying that whatsoever. And then also the loss of Jusuf Nurkic is going to drastically hurt their ability to match up with the Nuggets as well. Nurkic at least was mobile enough on the perimeter and strong and big enough in the post to at least give Nikola Jokic struggles. Like, he wouldn't actually have terrible games, but he would have to work for things in a more tough way than he has to against other centers throughout the league. So Nurkic was a big part of them being able to match up with the Nuggets. Now without him, I don't know how they are going to find a way to defend Nikola Jokic in the playoff series. So for me, Portland is in a very tough spot, especially if they end up facing the Nuggets in the second round, if we're going to live in that world like we are right now. The other team, though, the Thunder, the Nuggets have beaten the Thunder 6 straight times going back to last year. They have handled them on the road and at home. They have beaten them with defense, with offense, and with a mixture of the two. So for me, even if the Thunder manage to get across the Portland Trailblazers in the first round, and Denver manages to get past San Antonio, the Thunder are not in a position to really be able to be favored against a Denver Nuggets team, especially considering that Paul George's right shoulder keeps getting re-aggravated. So that's why the Nuggets making that bet that they could find a way to get into the other side of the bracket was such an important one, because the Nuggets match up extremely well with Portland and with the Thunder.
Far be it from me, TJ, to put the Denver Nuggets, with the Warriors. Home season here, a couple, 3 seasons back, along with the San Antonio Spurs. But what made this season so special for the Denver Nuggets in the can? I mean, they were invincible at the Pepsi Center.
Honestly, I don't know what it is, because, yes, it's easy to give the cliches that when you have your sixth player and the fans out there being loud, it makes you play better, but the Nuggets were not this dominant of a home team over the past, 2 or 3 seasons. They have a historical great track record at home, but they haven't been recently. So for me, I think that the Nuggets just realized that if they wanted to be a dominant team in the West, that winning home games was priority number 1, if not number 2. So they came in with the thought in their head that they have to win their home games at all costs. And whatever mental state that Michael Malone was able to pound into their collective mindsets, it worked. And they came out, and they are, without a doubt, one of the most dominant home court teams, if not the most dominant. They have been phenomenal at home, and they have learned how to win games doing just enough to win, which is what great teams do. So they've had a lot of close games at home, but they found a way to win them. And now, with all of that confidence going into the playoffs, with having home court advantage in at least the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, that's going to be a very big deal for Denver looking down the line.
Speaking of Michael Malone, head coach of the Denver Nuggets, again, what he was able to do to turn this franchise around, again, making them the second seed, where Denver Nuggets last year were just on the outside looking in of the playoffs. My question to you, TJ, for Coach Mike Malone, is he the unanimous NBA head coach of the year, or are there other candidates right behind Mike Malone for that award honor this season?
Well, you got the cat in Milwaukee, don't you, TJ?
Yeah. Yes, and so this is my thing, is that there are so many high-level Coach of the Year candidates right now in the NBA. Nate McMillan has been phenomenal in Indiana. You have Mike Budenholzer in Milwaukee, who has turned them into a complete juggernaut. You have Doc Rivers taking a starless Clippers team and making them a playoff team. There are just so many guys, and even like Dave Yeager, who was fired today, he brought that Kings team from just the depths of despair to potentially making the playoffs. So this year, unlike most, there are so many high-level candidates. But for me, Michael Malone has done the best job. I have trouble giving Mike Budenholzer that much credit for just having the idea that, maybe we should put 4 shooters around Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like, that is not a revolutionary idea to me. That more speaks to Jason Kidd's incompetence the past few years than that Mike Budenholzer has just revolutionized what they do down there. Doc Rivers, while very good, he fell off in a big way in the second half of the year and his Clippers team. They went from being right there in the top 3 seeds to suddenly in that 6, 7, 8 realm for the most of the second half. Nate McMillan has done a good job with Indiana, but they haven't exactly torn the league apart. So for me, Michael Malone, with the team that had the most games lost due to injury, with the second youngest roster from when the season started, to be able to take that team from a team that missed the playoffs last year into a Western Conference playoff team and actually lock in a top 2 seed on the last day of the season, that to me is so much more impressive than I have seen from other coaches. So for me, Michael Malone is the unquestioned coach of the year, but we'll have to just wait and see. Denver does not get a whole lot of love in that regard. So maybe the voters will remember Michael Malone. Maybe they'll give it to Budenholzer just because they have been so good in Milwaukee. But only time will tell. But Malone absolutely deserves the recognition from being a Coach of the Year candidate.
Final thought from me to you, TJ, and want to get your thought on the West this season. But it would be, to me, my surprise in the West would be James not doing it for the Lakers this year, not single-handedly putting him on his back and getting him into the playoffs. And then, of course, the resignation of Magic after it was all said and done. What was your big surprise in the West this season?
Yeah, it has to be the Lakers because, again, LeBron James went to the Lakers with the idea that Magic Johnson mixed with the appeal of the Lakers franchise will undoubtedly be able to get me a second star to run with. Clearly, that backfired in a gigantic way. So much so that Magic Johnson couldn't take the pressure of potentially tampering by accident and resigned without telling his boss, who he considers a sister. Like, that is just an absolutely insane thought process for me, just to say that sentence out loud. And then to think about the fact that not only did they not get a star, but they completely alienated the majority of their young players who are actually good players. That is just insane. And then you go out and you sign Rajon Rondo, Michael Beasley, JaVale McGee, and Lance Stevenson and try and take the ball out of LeBron's hands. Nothing that the Lakers did this year made any sense to me. And for that alone, it is just a complete staggering effect. They're wasting the very last few years of LeBron's prime just to completely blow up the most reputable franchise in the NBA's history. So that to me is just absolutely insane. I will never be able to forget the complete debacle that was the Lakers season this season.
Well, TJ,
I was going to say there's no loss on this end that the Lakers didn't make the playoffs.
We have no problems with the Lakers not being there. Hey, TJ, hopefully we'll get a chance to catch up with you when the Warriors and the Nuggets face off for the NBA's Western Conference Finals.
Always a pleasure to talk with you guys. Anytime you want me on, just give me a ring. It's always great talking.
Thank you so much, TJ McBride, Nuggets beat writer for Mile High Sports. And you can tell in the voice there the excitement as the Nuggets gearing up for postseason play. It's been a while as they will play host to the San Antonio Spurs in the opening round. We will take a timeout. We'll come back with more of Wyoming Sports Talk today after these words here on 1480 KRAE.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
There's a place where possibilities are boundless, where curiosity runs rampant, where exploration becomes opportunity. With Laramie County Community College, you can discover the best version of yourself. It's time to take on new challenges, to enrich your life, and to create the future you deserve. Your story unfolds. Laramie County Community College. Apply today. Visit lccc.wy.edu/yourstory.
For almost 60 years, 1480 KRAE has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball. Now combo that with KYOY FM and you have Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM and FM radio stations. But we don't stop there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both KRAE and KYOY. And that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Larry Proetti at 307-637-0301.
Join in for a festive evening of fun, food, and live auction in Cheyenne on Monday, May 6th at the historic Little Bear Inn, which is sponsoring the Love Never Forgets Gala to benefit the Wyoming chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. The event is being held to support the services provided on behalf of the nearly 30,000 Wyomingites affected by this relentless form of dementia. For more information, call the Alzheimer's chapter at 316-2892. That's 316-2892. Or visit First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue for your tickets. Remember, at First Tier Bank, you'll find the best rate on a 27-month CD with a 3.10% annual percentage yield.
We're starting our 14th year and we still believe in putting you first by making it easy to own a new Kia vehicle. I'm AJ Miller for Kia of Cheyenne, and right now, we can help get you into a new 2019 Kia Sportage for less than Honda CR-V, Toyota RAV4, or Ford Escape. The 2019 Kia Sportage comes standard with power adjustable rear view mirrors, rear camera display, remote keyless entry, and more. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123 or go to kiaofcheyenne.com. We'll make it easy.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Okay, good day in the weight room, boys. Remember, we lift weights for strength. For cardio, we lift weights faster. Wachowski, quit looking at your stomach, son. What you're looking for ain't there. If you want a six-pack, the easiest way to get one is at Taco John's.
Stop in for a 6-pack and a pound at Taco John's. Get 6 crispy beef tacos and a pound of potato olays, all for $10.99.
Let's Olay the Day and go get one right now. Last one there has to pick up Mrs. Coach from jiu-jitsu class.
Olay the Day at Taco John's.
When it comes to sports talk in Cheyenne, it's a whole new ballgame. Let's play ball! You're listening to Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Back on Wyoming Sports Talk today, the pro men, Larry Proetti along with Nick Proetti. We are here. As we know, we haven't really even set up the playoffs for the National Basketball Association. We've been talking so much about the West.
We haven't even set up what's coming on today's show, though, too.
Well, we can do that here. All right, let's go on. Our next guest will be the former skipper of the Cheyenne Mustangs. That would be one Rick Thompson. He will come in here and give us the official Mustangs update, again, under a new direction this year. Yeah. Of course, the new coach won't be in town roughly.
He's doing high school things out in the state of Florida. So
he won't be here until about May.
Which is kind of interesting how that's going to work out against Cheyenne Mustangs, who will be in action. Possibly they're set to be on the road in Billings, Montana, coming up this weekend against the Billings Expo. So we'll see how that. Thanks for yelling into the mic, too. Either way, though, again, we will get the Cheyenne Mustangs update from Rick Thompson.
You should try shoveling some snow once in a while. Oh, that's right. That'd be manual labor.
I let it melt.
Yeah, that's the way you do it. All right, so let's update the playoff schedule here for you in the NBA. We'll go first to the Eastern Conference with the number 1 seed Milwaukee Bucks. They will take on the number 8 seed Pistons. The Pistons officially qualified on game 81. That's when they officially got punched their ticket to the playoffs. Number 2 will be the Toronto Raptors. They'll take on number 7 Orlando, probably one of their hotter teams right now in the East, as they won 8 out of their last 10, so that vaulted them into that number 7 spot.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I really doubt Orlando, as interesting as it is, the Orlando Magic sitting at the 7th seed. They are your Southeast Division winner as well. So, again, will Orlando and this Magic team pull off any magic against the Toronto Raptors?
Probably not.
No, not at all. Either way, though, again, that is your 2-7 matchup. For
3-6 matchup will have the 76ers as they will host the Brooklyn Nets. That should be a short-lived series.
Brooklyn's
improved this year. I will give them
the
that.
Nets are an interesting bunch, but do they have enough talent to up in the 76ers? I just don't see it. You're looking at, about a 9-game difference in wins between those two, at least for a 3-6 matchup. Brooklyn, it's an interesting team to at least take an eye out, see if they'll probably get like one win, maybe against the 76ers, but I doubt they have any shot against Philly.
The 4-5 matchup is an interesting one with the Celtics. And you right there, you say, hey, it's the Boston Celtics, Kyrie Irving, they should take care of business.
I have no faith in Boston this year.
The Indiana Pacers, though, I don't have any faith in them. They find a way to shoot themselves in the foot, always in the first round. So, anyway, Boston.
Yes and no, but Indiana, this is a completely different Pacers team. They, again, without a Stevenson, without
Indiana.
Without a Paul George, this is a revitalized Indiana team. And it was another team that kind of snuck into the East. It was a team that kind of fell under the radar, so to speak, throughout the season. Again, with the likes of Milwaukee, what they were doing, Toronto being consistently good, Philadelphia out there in the East. But Indiana is an interesting team. This 4-5 matchup is very intriguing, where I don't automatically hand it to Boston. I have no faith in the Celtics this year. I thought the Celtics would be at least flirting with the 1 or 2 seed, be that top dog team in the Eastern Conference, but they've kind of proved that wrong. In this matchup, I would say I'd favor more the Pacers than anything. I think the Pacers are a team that can surprise, at least in this first round. Now, will they match up well against Milwaukee? I don't think the Bucks will have any issue with the Pistons, but will they match well with Milwaukee? I don't know. I really don't know. Milwaukee's another question mark in the East of, are the Bucks for real? Or is it a team that is going to have enough experience? Is it a team that is going to be in the right direction? We've seen plenty of times these 1 seeds come in and they've kind of laid an egg. Will Milwaukee be that next team to do that? I think right now, again, in my opinion, the best team in the Eastern Conference, it's a push and pull between Toronto or Philadelphia. And I want to lean more with the Raptors, especially with Kawhi Leonard and just how talented he is, and again, just how that bunch is surrounding him. In my opinion, that 2-seed Toronto team is probably the best team in the East.
You go to the Western Conference, and again, everybody can beat everybody. That's just the way I feel about it. Yeah, again, you got 1 versus 8 Warriors versus the Clippers.
Warriors have kind of spanked on the Clippers recently, so I don't.
They should take care of business.
Yeah, I don't think LA will at least get that first round upset.
Steph Curry, no, it's not questionable. As Steve Kerr said, it's just a mild ankle sprain, and he iced it after
It's still a bit questionable what they're going to do.
They're out of business here for a few days, so they'll have plenty of time to rest on it. So Warriors and Clippers, 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, Nuggets and the Spurs. It will be 3-6. Portland, OKC, that's going to be a good series. 4-5, as TJ McBride just recently told us. Don't be surprised that Utah upsets Houston. But then again, too, I think Houston is going to be on a mission. And if they do get to the next round, definitely have their sights on the Warriors. There's no doubt about it, because they were 1 game away last year. Yeah. And again, either the Warriors or Houston were going to be world champions last year.
Yeah, I would absolutely.
I think Houston would have beat Cleveland as well, too.
Possibly. Either way, though, again, Houston, they should on paper beat Utah. I think with what Harden has done, Chris Paul, again, that just solid core out there for the Rockets. They should take care of business against Utah, but Jazz, they've been here before. They know how to at least get past that first round. They know how to take care of business in the playoffs. That is your proverbial coin flip, same with Boston and Indiana, hence the reason why it is that 4-5 matchup. But I would lean more to the Houston to get it done and, again, kind of continue on that mission. Do I think if it is Golden State versus Houston in that second round, will Houston take care of business this time around? I highly doubt it. Again, Golden State is your favorite, and it should be at this point in time, should be that team representing the West in the NBA Finals coming up. Portland and OKC, I want to lean on the Thunder, especially with Westbrook. He can carry that team. He can carry that Oklahoma City team far in the playoffs. Portland's a team where you talk with Indiana, where they find a way to not get past that first round. Portland's on that same vein, where you don't know what to expect out of the Trailblazers. You don't know if they're going to be the Portland team that can, beat a Golden State during the regular season, that can beat a Denver, that can beat anybody, or are they going to tuck tail and just go, we're not going to play our best ball right now?
It remains to be seen.
And again, they're at least he's a big player for the Portland Trailblazers, but with Nurkic, again, that is a big loss for the Trailblazers.
Absolutely.
That's huge.
Anytime you lose a star player in the playoffs, and we felt that, me, especially being Warrior fans, when Steph went down, we knew there was other pieces to step up.
Trailblazers don't have that, though.
Yeah, they don't have
that. They don't have that 6-man, that 7-man to pick up that slack.
They don't have the deep a bench as the Warriors do. All right, let's start talking about the season is over, and that means departures. First off, the longtime son of NBA coach Bernie Bickerstaff, that's J.B. Bickerstaff, he was given the heave-ho today over in Memphis. And again, Memphis usually was a perennial playoff team. Last couple of seasons,
Grizzlies are in a tailspin at this point. They can't. When they got rid of Jaeger, again now he's removed from the Sacramento Kings, but since those Jaeger years, Memphis has not been the same. Again, when you lose, the big pieces, they kind of unloaded, and right now Memphis, they're going to flirt with the Phoenix Suns. They're going to be one of the worst teams probably in the Western
Unfortunately
Conference.
for JB, he came in when the Grizz were doing the house cleaning and restructuring. So Bickerstaff has a 48-97 record in 2 campaigns with the Grizz, not making the playoffs after this team was making playoff after playoff after playoff. Never went further.
Yeah, that was also too when this team wasn't unloading players, that wasn't sending them off, where it had talent. Well, Memphis is in clear rebuild mode when they got rid of Jaeger, at least years ago. And do I fault it on him or what has become the Memphis Grizzlies kind of product, especially there in the Western Conference where you have 8 great teams, 9, 10, where you got to try and vault over all that in the Western Conference? I don't blame him.
Right.
Again, Memphis is going to be in the cellar for a long time.
Well, here's what they did, too. They reassigned general manager Chris Wallace. Wallace and vice president of basketball operations John Hollinger were demoted to scouting and senior advisory roles, and the Grizzlies are elevating Jason Waxler to president, overseeing basketball and business operations.
Maybe they should just send that Grizzlies franchise back to Vancouver at this point.
Well, right now, I'm telling you, you want to talk about being – again, a middle-of-the-pack Western Conference team for many years, and now they, you said, they're a doormat team.
They were essentially they're going through the troubles that Denver saw for a few years, where Denver was at, hey, we make it to the playoffs, we don't do a whole lot, and here we are. Let's unload again. Where we saw head coach of the year, George Karl. Well, thanks for what you did. Bye-bye, and started unloading those pieces where we saw McGee move on. You saw Iguodala move on. You saw at least that whole Nuggets team just kind of get scorched. It's the same thing with Memphis right now, but I don't see anything that proves to me that Memphis, the Grizzlies, are going to climb out of that cellar anytime soon and pull off of what Denver has done, at least this season, and even going back to last season where they flirted with the playoffs. Memphis right now, it's a team that's going to be the laughingstock of the NBA for possibly next season and a few more seasons.
All right, so Vlade Divac, I haven't heard that in a long time. Of course, he's the Sacramento Kings general manager. He fired Dave Jaeger.
After GM, isn't he owner of that team too?
No, he's just the GM.
I thought he owned that thing too.
Anyway, so Jaeger gets fired after his, 4th season?
As this was probably
3 seasons. He was 98.
As this was probably Sacramento's best season in quite some time.
39-43. They wrapped up the year. Vlade basically, as he also
wants a winner. He clearly again he's
got a new contract. And basically the contract, he's using his muscle here. His contract extension puts him in that power through the 22-23 season. So he also fired assistant general manager Brandon Williams earlier this morning, and now he's going to sit down and talk with the players after firing Jaeger. Who he's going to announce as head coach, don't know.
Rumors right now are circulating because it hasn't been official yet, but looking down the road with what's happening in La La Land with the Lakers, again, you've already had one piece resign, and it's looking like the coaching staff for the Lakers is going to be moving on. That is something that we've heard throughout this entire season, and it's looking like it's going to happen. That includes one Luke Walton. Rumors have been circulating that the Kings are going to be, at least they're waiting for that to be official, and they're going to be aggressive to try and get Luke Walton up to Sacramento to coach the Kings. So we'll see if he makes that transition up north, where, again, very familiar up north. Again, being with the Warriors, familiar in the Pacific Division. Kings do respect of what he has done. So we'll see if that kind of is a possibility for the Sacramento Kings. But again, it has not been official yet for the Lakers, but all indications are looking like that coaching staff this season is going bye-bye too.
And now with the end of the season, and like you mentioned, I'm sure there'll be some more heads that'll be chopped when it's all said and done.
Then you start out Phoenix.
And then you start looking at, free agency. And one of them is coming to mind right now is Kemba Walker. Who wanted to play his entire career with the Charlotte Hornets, but he's kind of realistic. He wants to also compete for an NBA championship ring. So, again, everybody, when you become a free agent, you're thinking Golden State Warriors because they are the the trademark of
right now. The buzzwords are Golden State, but also too it is that LA Lakers team. But we'll see if what is happening with that franchise kind of detracts, whether it's a KD, a Kemba Walker, from joining the LA Lakers. But again, Kemba. He's trying to be respectable. He wants to stay with the Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets team that did knock on the playoffs this year were just on the outside looking in, just right behind Detroit there. But it'll be interesting to see, is he going to be loyal, or is it going to be a situation of, yes, I don't care about money, I want to win.
I want a ring.
Again, he's beloved in Charlotte. He is the face of that franchise.
He's averaging about 26 points a game. I mean,
yeah, he's a phenomenal ball player, but is it something where he's going to show that loyalty to Charlotte where, again, Charlotte fans are dying for it? He is that face, and somewhere where they were trying to build around him, clearly it's slowly working. It's not there yet, but will he stay loyal, or will he entertain somewhere? That will bring him in. Again, Golden State's kind of full right now, and we'll see what happens with them. Again, with the Kevin Durant situation with Klay Thompson, will he move on? There's a lot of big questions out there, but you got to figure out where these upper echelon teams, where they're going to stand, and can they even afford to bring on some of these names?
The Phoenix Suns, you mentioned, also announced James Jones as their new general manager after he filled in the role on the interim basis this season. Again, Phoenix they're just not good anymore. Along with the Jones move, the Suns also announced the hiring of Jeff Bauer as Senior Vice President of Basketball Operations. Jones will oversee basketball operation with Bauer and Assistant General Manager Trevor Booststein reporting to him. So is there a possibility of a coaching change going on in Phoenix? You read the writing on the wall.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it's just kind of waiting to see once that becomes official.
Well, we weren't here yesterday, and I'm kind of saving the best for last. So let's take a timeout, and when we come back, we got more NBA hoops after these words here on 1480 KRAE. MHP is a certified public accounting and consulting firm located in Bow, Cheyenne, and Fort Collins, offering accounting, tax, and consulting services to businesses, not-for-profit, government, and individual clients. MHP takes pride in their commitment to providing close, personal attention to their clients. They also continue to invest time and resources in continuing education, state-of-the-art computer technology, and valuing their relationships with you. MHP is a proud supporter of local and UW athletics. MHP, 314 West 18th Street, or call 634-2151. Right now, it's time to head over to Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service for low prices on outstanding RVs in Wyoming. Your local, exclusive Jayco dealer wants you to check out their closeout deals as well as their 2019 inventory of trailers, fifth wheels, and toy haulers. You can save up to 30% on select models with approved credit. You can find them at 6102 East Highway 30. Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service is a proud sponsor of LCCC men's and women's basketball, also our local high school teams too. Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast. Only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range.
Cheyenne's oldest coin dealer and supplier, the Coin Shop, is proud to serve the community since 1982. Trade or sell your gold, silver, and other precious metals. Visit with David and the knowledgeable staff for a fair and honest assessment of your valuables. Located at 510 West Lincoln Way. Call them today at 778-7196 to schedule your personal consultation.
At Medicap Pharmacy, we concentrate on nothing but your medications and your health. Each location is a locally owned, full-service neighborhood pharmacy. We won't make you walk through aisles and aisles of stuff or wait in a long line. Instead, we'll always make time for you by listening, answering your questions, and explaining your prescriptions.
Medicap Pharmacy. We'll always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
At Platte Valley Bank, we understand that you have a busy life, and that means you don't always have time to come to the bank. That's why we offer user-friendly online and mobile banking with features such as bill pay, recurring transfers, and mobile deposit, so you can bank how you want when you want to. Whether you prefer to bank in person, over the phone, or online, Platte Valley Bank makes it easy to take care of your finances.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC.
You can count on Platte Valley Bank. Community banking for you.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
Weather-wise for today, cloudy and blustery with a chance of snow showers. Look for a daytime high of 30 degrees. Winds will be northerly at 20 to 25, gusting as high as 40. For tonight, mostly cloudy and blustery with our low drop down to 17 degrees. Northerly winds at 15 to 20, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, Friday, it's going to be partly sunny. Expected daytime high near 35. Friday night, mostly cloudy with our low dropping down to 21 degrees.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Of course, not being here yesterday as we were postponed due to the weather. Let's get into the big news. It happened the night before that Magic Johnson said, adios, I'm done. I want to be Magic again. Now, again, correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me finish. Magic's also part of the Lakers. He's also part of the Dodgers. Has Magic stretched himself too thin, or is he not in that presidential mode for the bus vamp for Jeannie Buss? Who
I don't know at this point. Yeah, again, I don't think it's really any issue where he's stretched too thin between both franchises. The troubling thing was more so, or at least the kind of comical thing that came out about this was where Magic just said, "Hey, I felt scared to be upfront and honest with the Buss family, especially with Janine, where it's something where he was afraid to go to her for anything. Where, hey, she's like a sister to me, but I'm not going to go to her and ask her for anything. I felt scared to. Again, it couldn't happen to a better franchise with the LA Lakers. Again, though happening with Magic, hey, maybe it's best you focus on one sport, focus on the Dodgers. Hey, they are successful. Maybe you see if they can get a World Series championship. Hopefully not. But either way, though, maybe it's smart for Magic Johnson just to kind of focus on one sport, one team, instead of juggling with both at this point, and not meddle with the Lakers. I think with anything for Magic Johnson, maybe he put a little too much pressure on him, again, where he is enshrined with the Lakers. He is, beloved with the LA fan base, especially the Laker fan base. Again, is all a part of that franchise and wants it to be as good as it was when he was playing for the Lakers. Maybe it was something where that pressure got to him of, I need to build this up. I need to create that old Lakers feeling, that old Lakers team, get those winning championships, but it's not possible.
I just think he was a face of the crowd. That's all he was. I think Rob Pelinka's been the one that's been making all the moves and making all the calls. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, because you had mentioned Walton possibly getting the boot out of there.
I don't think it's a possibility. It
all
sounds
right,
like it's
well,
gonna
if
happen.
it does happen, it's going to happen from Pelinka because Magic hasn't spoken to Walton in about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Jeannie Buss is the one who has been on Walton's side. She is one of his staunchest allies. And I think basically here's what Magic Johnson's been the president of the organization, so to speak. He's been at courtside watching the ball games, chatting with the players, and he's probably patting himself on the back for making sure that they got LeBron James. But other than that, Rob Pelinka is the one that's making all the calls and doing all the decisions right now.
Probably, again, not to assume anything of what's going on in the front office or at least behind the scenes with
And
the
I
LA
think
Lakers.
Palenka needs to go too.
Yeah,
Palenka, I should say, not Palenka.
Possibly, but again, right now this Lakers franchise, it sounds like it's back into a little disarray, and you wonder right now of, again, the Lakers have the history, they have the franchise notoriety, but right now it sounds like it's a dumpster on fire situation right now out there in the Staples Center with the LA Lakers of, is anyone willing to touch this team right now? Are you going to have those big name free agents come out to Los Angeles where again front office is scared to make moves? Front office is very timid. You don't even know what your front office is going to be. You don't even know what your coaching staff is going to be at this point in time. Again, you brought in all these pieces, you brought in all these big names to complement LeBron James, and it still got you nowhere. Again, out there in the very tough Western Conference. Right now, Lakers, this feels like it's the beginning of something that's going to snowball into something a lot major, at least going down the road. Lakers, where we thought they could make it in the playoffs this season, kind of sneak in there, so to speak. Lakers right now, it sounds like it's a team that's trending downward now. That doesn't even have a shot and a prayer to make it to the playoffs next season. But it all depends on what happens this offseason. Who are they going to court? Who are they going to move? Who are they going to try and get in there? Who knows right now? But is it something where if you're a head coach, if you're a potential GM, do you really want to be a part of this Lakers organization with everything that's been going on this season? A lot of negative storylines have been coming out from the Los Angeles Lakers, whether it was LeBron is not happy with Walton, or again, the front office is not happy with Walton. We're going to move on with Walton. And that was during the season. That came out during the season.
And what about the supporting cast that they built around LeBron?
Where, again, LeBron, the infamous picture is where, hey, I'm a team player, and he's sitting at the end of the bench where no one else is near him. Right now, if I'm a player, if I'm a big name, if I'm a GM, if I'm a potential head coach, I stay away from this franchise
let's look at this really logically, Nick, where you mentioned a couple names just from the Warriors. KD.
Well, again, Kevin Durant has been tossed out as potentially joining the Lakers. Klay Thompson has been tossed.
Davis maybe getting traded. He's got a year left on his deal.
Again, Anthony Davis trying to go join LeBron with the Lakers in trade.
My point is, do you really, just because you're there, do you think you're going to vault him into the playoffs? It's like
it showed this season that no. LeBron just by himself can't do it. Clearly in the West. You can get away with it in the Eastern Conference. We know that. The Eastern Conference is a complete joke.
The West is just too damn good.
Well, yeah, and that was the rude awakening for LeBron James, and he has to realize, hey, I can't do it by myself. I need to help out. I need to find those cast of characters. Now, but again, is Anthony Davis going to look at that situation and go, sure, I'll go out there, or Klay, or Kevin Durant, or, again, any other big name that is going to be available this offseason? Are they honestly going to take a look at the Lakers at this point in time with the big question marks and go, that's a team I want to play for?
And the Pelicans are going to say, look, we're going to trade. And again, Davis has to prove the trade. But basically, and I don't think he has to prove the trade. He can go. But my point is, the Lakers are going to have to pony up about 2-3 players and maybe cash for Davis.
And that might be a McGee, that might be a Stevenson.
That could be a Ball.
That could be Lonzo, absolutely. Again, there's a lot of pieces. Kuzma as well. There's names that the Lakers can do without. But will they make that moves where teams will accept it? Will, again, players want to be a part of that trade? We don't. Again, right now it is a big question mark. And I think with what is happening right now with the Lakers, it puts a big black eye on that franchise of going, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to deal with this.
And when you have Magic stepping away, it kind of says
Magic, who would be your probably biggest outline in the front office.
Yeah, I mean he's your more attractive piece. Than LeBron James,
a former player, a former great, a Hall of Famer. He's going to help you again, try to accommodate every need that you want.
He's going to get you as much money as you can.
Yeah,
but
now he's gone.
But you look at a guy like KD. What was KD's main reason for leaving OKC?
He wanted a championship.
He wanted a ring.
You're not getting in L.A.
And he got it right away by going to Golden State.
Yeah.
And he got back-to-back rings. Mm-hmm. Very much possibility that he can get the trifecta. Now, is KD burned out on rings? That would be the question.
That'd be kind of a stupid thing to think.
Yeah.
You think MJ was like, oh, I don't want these 6 rings?
So KD's in a situation now where, hey, we got Steph in play. We've got Draymond in play. We're working on getting Clay back. Iguodala's in play.
Yeah.
The pieces are there for three more years. We already gone through
the only
this.
attractive thing for at least Los Angeles at this point it is L.A., Los Angeles, Hollywood,
and it's
where
be
again
bigger money.
Yeah, where you can make that money post-career as well too. You can establish yourself out there in that community again, build up a home, familiarize with those those higher ups, whether it's in Hollywood or the big corporates out there. Hey, that's all good and fancy and nice, but right now, is it going to be as you got your laptop playing for whatever reason? But either way, though, again, that's the only reason why you would head down to LA is kind of post-career or at least money-wise, because you're not winning anytime soon.
You know what? Especially with the again, you use KD, you use Clay Thompson, Davis. Who else? They even threw out like Paul George. George, I think, is set where he's at right now. But again, you look at the upcoming list of free agents. You want to go to LA? Great, terrific. You're not going to be championship contenders. You might be a playoff team, and that's about far as you're going to go. I don't see LA ready for prime time. Maybe for a couple of seasons. Again, you got front office debacle. You have coaching problems. You got one player problem on the floor right now. And again, Durant playing with LeBron James. I think you got problems right away.
It makes it somewhat on paper scary team where maybe they could do something special, but I just think it would be a butting of heads is what it seems like. LeBron of, hey, who's going to take the ball? KD wants it or LeBron's going to need it, and that's not going to work. Clearly, as Golden State is
Whose
that
hands
team,
do you want the ball in with 1 second left? Who you want it?
Either or could work fine.
That's right. KD says, I can do it, and James says, I have been doing it. You're going to have some very, at least at Golden State right now. There are egos. Don't get me wrong, but
I don't think about that. I really don't.
No,
again,
but
you hear players taking pay cuts to keep this team.
But there's also enough basketballs for everybody.
Well, again, it's the most unselfish team in NBA, and it's proved dividends.
I agree.
It's equated to 3 championships in 4 years.
But this year it was LeBron's team, and LeBron did all the work.
Yeah.
He
tried to do what he did in Cleveland, and again, it proved where in the East you can, in the West it's not going to work. So it's trial and error. You realize, hey, it happened this season. It didn't go well, and you need to change that up. But again, a player who's been playing like that for his entire career, can he change just like that? I don't see it. I don't see it with LeBron James. He shows that he was selfish. Again, that was something that was early on in his career. It is now creeping up again where it's all about him. And again, the infamous photo where he's 3 seats on the edge of the bench. No, the rest of the team's all gathered up, and he's just pouting by himself at the edge.
I agree. You're not going to get any arguments out of it.
This Lakers team is not making the playoffs next season.
Let me ask you this about real quick here before we go to the top of the hour. What about Boogie Cousins? What do you think about Boogie?
What do you mean?
Do you think he hangs on with the Warriors, or do you think he moves on?
I don't know. I right now.
I mean, the Warriors they knew what they were getting when they signed him. That's why they got him really cheap.
It was a 1-year contract to get him his ring if he wanted.
Was he worth the weight?
So. I think so.
So you think
he will be a force in the playoffs? I think absolutely he's going to be where you can transition him in and out with Andrew Bogut. Again, Bogut who's been through these ranks as well. Again, the Australian MVP when he was playing down there in that professional basketball league. Again, 2 big men that you can switch in and out, even if you want to do with a Kevon Looney where he might be your fringe 3-man. But you have bigs out there where can defend inside the paint that can be that protection where Golden State's had issues of past, whether it was Zaza Pachulia of recent. Again, Andrew, at least Bogut is kind of had that difficulty. JaVale, he kind of panned out a bit, but right now you have 2 interchangeable big men that right now it's going to be interesting to see how they're utilized.
This is why I brought that up, because with KD, if he does leave, remember the Warriors won a championship prior to Kevin Durant coming
They'll be fine. This team will be fine no matter what.
No matter who leaves, but I was just wondering if Boogie Cousins would be that piece that
he's
would
certainly been a
solidify them
playmaker.
to stick around.
He certainly has been a big, at least he's not the biggest piece on that Warriors team, but he's been a playmaker for the Warriors. He has been a force. He is, he's a nice compliment to Draymond where he is that vocal leadership role.
All right, we got to take a timeout. Come back. Hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk today on the way.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And Wyoming Sports Talk Today, hour number 2, being brought to you by Taco John's of Cheyenne. Again, great night for a 6-pack at a pound. That's one of the many goodies that they offer at Taco John's, so check out the great menu and all of the fine selection. Even their fish tacos are excellent over at Taco John's of Cheyenne. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service over on Highway 30, exclusive home for Jayco RVs, fifth wheels, travel trailers. And again, check out the lineup of 2019s on the lot. 18 still out there too. And again, great savings plans going on right now and great financing packages as well. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range right across from Menards. We didn't get a chance yet, but we will talk about the great spread that they put out for us yesterday. Thank you again to Cindy and Ari. Why you roll your eyes at me? What's the matter with you? Are you just like...
I didn't roll my eyes.
You did. You want to like that? You roll my eyes like...
I might want to choke you out for what you've kind of done today, at least on the show.
Oh, for that?
Your phone as well, too.
That was more business than anything.
Get on with it.
Anyway, Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range, where, again, they invite you to go to CheyenneChicken.com. Always think of them first when you're doing a catering event. They put out a great spread for you. Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. Again, your home for the Kia family, where you'll find Soul, Sorrento, Sportage, Forte, all there. Even the Stinger over at Kia of Cheyenne on Nation Way. Platte Valley Bank, 2 banking locations. The original location on Vanda High and the east side location at the corner of College and Pershing. Medicap Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical needs on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body on Dunn Avenue, the Auto and Truck Repair Center. The Auto Glass and Detail Center can be found over on Pershing Boulevard. First Tier Bank right there on Stillwater Avenue at 1508 Stillwater Avenue, open Monday through Friday. Cross Street open 7 days a week. It's Mondello's Pizzeria, Paisan cuisine at its finest. And Mars Plumbing and Heating at 1515 Logan Avenue. Yes, we still might need some work on our heating, but also, too, you can have the air conditioning units looked at. Of course, they are there for you 24/7. Mars Plumbing and Heating on Logan Avenue. And we get things underway with our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. Here's Nick.
NHL action for tonight, finishing up game 1s of the first round of NHL playoffs. We will start with Boston Bruins at home at TD Garden. This game can be seen on ABC Sports Network as they will take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Carolina Hurricanes travel to Washington to see the Washington Capitals at Capital One Arena. The defending Stanley Cup champion Washington Capitals. That game can be seen on USA Network. And last but not least, Calgary Flames at home at Scotiabank Saddledome. They will host the Colorado Avalanche, and that game can be seen on NBC Sports Network. That's what's happening in NHL action for tonight.
Major League Baseball from Great American Ballpark. The Reds have blanked the Marlins today 5-0. Athletics, the swinging A's behind Chris Davis again with another 2-home-run day. So he now has 9 in the month of April as the Athletics beat the Orioles 8-5 at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. It was the Indians 4, Motor City Kitties of Detroit nothing. Dodgers lose again. They were beaten by the Cardinals 11-7 at Busch. In 10, the M's improved to 13-2 with their win over the Royals. Getting underway when we leave here, the Blue Jays at the Red Sox, Mets will be at the Braves, Pirates will take on the Cubs at Wrigley, 7 o'clock hour, Padres at the Diamondbacks, and in the 8 o'clock hour, well, check that at 7:45 Mountain Time, it will be from Oracle Park, the Giants playing host to the Rockies. John Gray will toe the rubber for the Rocks, and the Shark, Jeff Smarsda, for San Francisco. Our scoreboard, oh, that's right, nothing to go on the NBA side because playoffs will happen this weekend. And our scoreboard is brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
This is the Pepsi that's got a date with your taste buds. We're talking 1,000 bubbles dancing a two-step with you and 2 tacos at 2 a.m.
Order number 83? Come on, you're up!
This is the Pepsi that has mastered the art of the late-night munchies and is always down to dig into some deep dish.
Hey, we don't do deep dish, capiche?
Try telling that to Chicago. This is the Pepsi for po' boys, pulled pork sliders, and the godfather of all sandwiches, the Godfather. This is the Pepsi for street carts, anything a la carte, and is dying to make the leap into your grocery cart. Come on, take us home with you. This is the Pepsi for those who are forever fun. This is the Pepsi for every generation.
Are you tired of paying ATM fees? Hi, this is Rick Flood, president of Platte Valley Bank in Cheyenne. Use your Platte Valley Bank ATM or Visa debit card at any ATM anywhere. We won't charge you a fee on our end, and we'll reimburse any fee you incur at any other ATM. That's right, no ATM fees at Platte Valley Bank. How about that? Platte Valley Bank, 3310 North College Drive and 421 Van High Avenue, or pvbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Community banking for you.
In life, you question everything. The same should be true when it comes to managing your wealth. What are your investment recommendations based on? How much are you paying in fees? And how can those fees impact your returns? Charles Schwab encourages investors to get engaged and ask tough questions. To learn more, call the Schwab Cheyenne branch at 307-459-0998 or visit schwab.com/Cheyenne. Charles Schwab & Company, Incorporated. Member SIPC. Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. Our Super Radio buys heard only right here feature Jack Daniels, Old No. 7 Tennessee Whiskey, 1.75-liter bottle, $34.99. Captain Morgan Spiced Rum, 1.75-liter bottle, $19.99. And Miller High Life or High Life Light, 30-pack, 12-ounce cans, $19.99. Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
Well, the wise for today, cloudy and blustery with a chance of snow showers. Look for a daytime high of 30 degrees. Winds will be northerly at 20 to 25, gusting as high as 40. For tonight, mostly cloudy and blustery with our low drop down to 17 degrees. Northerly winds at 15 to 20, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, Friday, it's going to be partly sunny. Expect a daytime high near 35. Friday night, mostly cloudy with our low dropping down to 21 degrees.
Here the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk Today, hour number 2. Larry Perotti, Nick Perotti, and former skipper of the Cheyenne Mustangs, Rick Thompson, joining us here. And again, still involved with the Mustangs, obviously, in various ways, more probably in an advisory role, but I'm sure you've been on the field a couple of times too, and watching the new group of Mustangs that are getting ready for the 2019 season. So, Rick, I guess first question for me is, how does it feel not being the head man and just kind of being almost a fan watching the kids get ready?
I'll piggyback off of that one as well. Do you miss it at all? Do you want to get back into the management role? I mean, do you have any regret from announcing your retirement here, at least, a few months ago here live on Wyoming Sports Talk Today?
First of all, Larry and Nick, thank you for inviting me back to the show. It's always a pleasure to come visit with you, and always look forward to talking to you about baseball. And to answer your question, I do miss it a little bit, but I don't regret it. I've already been out playing golf a few times this spring, and I plan to do a little bit more of that this summer. I have been active in the organization in terms of helping them with scheduling, uniforms, coaching, practice time, field scheduling, all of those things that I've done in the past. So I've still been helping in that capacity. And so I haven't totally stepped away from the operations side, if you will. I'm just not a manager anymore.
You know, it's interesting that the Mustangs will be in action this weekend, but without the head guy, the
Right.
guy who took over your position. And matter of fact, he's going to probably miss maybe up to about a dozen games, weather permitting, until he can officially join the team. So how much does that throw the team off kilter a little bit?
I don't think it'll be that big of an adjustment. We knew when we hired Coach Baxter that would be the situation. To get the guy we wanted, it was a compromise that we were willing to make. We have assistant coaches here from last year and this year's team who have been running the practices and will handle the early games. His number one assistant coach, Reed Thompson, is over at the University of Wyoming, has been coming back on weekends to practice. He'll be at all the home games from the very beginning. Won't be able to make all the road trips early on until he gets out of school and finishes up his degree in early May. So he and Sheldon are both be here full-time May 16th. So that's not too far away, and I think the players will adjust well.
And again, also too, speaking of at least assistant coaches, someone that we've had on the show as well that you at least mentioned to us, Jay Foltz, will be returning as well too. So again, familiar names and faces. But speaking of which, familiar names and faces regarding the Cheyenne Mustangs team, kind of ran into the same thing as what Post 6 did, of a lot of graduation, a lot of players leaving this team that we saw that had a phenomenal season last year. Again, just umpteenth amount of wins, just had a fun time, at least with Cheyenne Mustangs baseball. But just talk to us about how many departures did we see this season for the Mustangs, and how young is it going to be for this roster?
Well, we graduated, I believe, 12 seniors last year. 11 of them went on to play college baseball. So with that kind of departure, obviously you're going to see a much different team on the field. Out of last year's starting lineup, there was only one that was not an 18-year-old. That's Dakota Merritt. And he is eligible, has one more year. He's a senior. He has not been he will not be at the early games because he's also a track guy and trying to work his way into a college scholarship for track. So he won't be joining us until track is done. So the rest of the team, they're all new to varsity. There's no returning varsity experience there. We had one that played some varsity last year that got injured in football, had surgery, and we will miss him the entire season. That was Hagan Allen. So the rest are players that are new to varsity and will be getting their first varsity experience. So we're a lot of underclassmen. It's going to be a very young team.
Let's talk about, as we mentioned, we say varsity. Let's talk, we know with Post 6, their feeder programs, and we've had you on before talking about the feeder programs. Let's remind our listeners how your kids get to be on the Mustangs varsity.
Well, we start at 9 years old with the travel teams, and they work their way up. And so hopefully they're getting good travel competitive experience through the years, because it's not something that you can just decide when you get to high school, I want to play competitive baseball. It's something that takes years of experience and work, and so it is important to have those feeder teams. We start at 9 years old, and we have teams each age group all the way up, and they work their way up eventually to the varsity level.
Speaking of at least kind of at least hate to compare to Post 6, but again, where we talk with Ty Lane, where they're in the same situation of a young team, at least where the Wyoming State has recognized that they are young, and they have a ranking system of saying Casper's the favorite, Cheyenne isn't. Now, with the Cheyenne Mustangs, and the state of Wyoming does not have a Connie Mack League. You guys play in the Colorado State Tournament, but is there a ranking system for the Mustangs to get an evaluation of where others think of this team, where who is the favorite in that Colorado State Tournament, or how do you kind of compare yourselves to the rest of these teams that you're going to see?
They really don't have a ranking system, and it changes a lot from year to year. We are something new this year. We are playing in a Denver league. We did not play league last year. We played mostly tournaments. This year we picked up 16 league games, so we cut out a couple tournaments to make room for that. But there's really not a ranking system. But I will tell you that the Casper Crush, the other Connie Mack team in Wyoming, is going to be very good. They were good last year, and they only graduated 2 seniors. They have a lot coming back, and they are going to put a good team on the field, and I hope that we can be competitive with them.
You know, speaking of competitive baseball, with the American Legion and now Connie Mack now is starting to gain some momentum. Here, Cheyenne, Casper, you got the 2 biggest cities in the state. Is it starting to spread? Is the word starting to get out across the rest of Wyoming? Again, I know we're talking smaller towns, Rock Springs, Green River, Cody, and again, where they have Legion teams. Are they in that process of possibly moving into that Connie Mack league as well?
That's something that I haven't explored, so I really don't know what their thought process is in the other communities about adding a Connie Mack team. It does take a fair population base if you're going to support both a Legion and a Connie Mack. But Connie Mack around the country is big. It's really big in Colorado and a lot of states we play in, and it seems to be growing nationwide, although I think it's been slower growth in Wyoming.
And just because of population base more than anything?
I think so, population and distances to travel. But there could easily be a Connie Mack league in Wyoming, and we could have our own Wyoming Connie Mack state championship instead of playing down in the Colorado one. They've always been good to let us play. They think of us as, we're 9 miles from the border, so they think of us as being a part of their organization. They've been very good to have us, but there's nothing to keep us from having our own state Connie Mack tournament and qualify our own team to the regional tournament.
But it's not a bad thing to say, hey, a Wyoming team won the Colorado State tournament and all the rest of the Colorado teams couldn't get it done. But either way, though, for the Cheyenne Mustangs, looking at this upcoming schedule for the varsity squad, again, we'll be on the road this weekend up in Billings, Montana against the Billings Expos. Again, we want to discuss with you of, with a recent snowstorm, but it sounds like, according to you, all things will be going up there. Again, baseball will be played this weekend for the Mustangs. We'll come back at home. Their first home game at least Saturday, April 20th against the Casper Crush team over at Pioneer Park. I'm just as well looking at a few other things. You will be competing in the Memorial Tournament May 25th, 26th, and 27th. Take a look at a few other tournaments. The Northern Colorado Border War will be June 20th to the 23rd. The Mustangs Summer Classic, which will happen at the Powers Field, that will be June 27th to June 30th. Cherokee Trail 4th of July tournament happening down in Denver, Colorado, which you'll be competing at. And again, at least at the tail end of July will be in the Colorado State Tournament. But looking at through all this, and I hate to bring it up for you, Rick, and I texted you about this, but notice that in between those July dates, there is no CABA tournament for the Cheyenne Mustangs. What's kind of the reasoning behind Mustangs not competing in the CABA tournament this season?
Well, I think there were several reasons, but one of them is that we added a league this year. We joined the Colorado Classic Baseball League out of Denver, and that added 18 league games to our schedule. You'll see there's 9 doubleheaders on that schedule with various teams in the Denver area, a team from Colorado Springs, some teams from Northern Colorado. 5 of those doubleheaders are going to be here in Cheyenne, so we added games. Some of those games will be on the road during that CABA tournament here in Cheyenne. So schedule-wise, we had to give something up, and that was the one that we decided to give up. The other thing, it was a tournament that our board didn't feel that we wanted to be associated with at this point, given some history that you well know about, and a city resolution that was passed by City Council but not honored by the promoter of the tournament. And that's 2 years in a row. There were some broken expectations, and so I think we're prepared to move on.
And again, those doubleheader games that happen at least July 9th at Pioneer Park against that Colorado Springs team, 1 and 3:30, and then July 14th against Grandview High School at Pioneer Park. From what we know of the CABA tournament last year, it did split time between Powers and Pioneer Park. Was that something you had to discuss with the city, the tournament organizer? Is there any conflict of interest of at least where you're able to play at Pioneer Park where they could play every game at Powers? Were there any any schedule
Well,
conflicts?
the way the tournament is scheduled and was scheduled last year is that the only game that's played on the final Sunday is the championship game that morning at Powers Field. That was last year like a 10 a.m. game. Actually 11. They moved it up because of some weather. Everybody's trying to get out of town, so Pioneer Park was not used last year, and that was a request we gave to the city. So, and if somehow that changes and the schedule is that they're going to play games on both parks all that day, we could move that game and play at Grandview. They have a field as well, but they were willing to come here. It was nice. We have not had Grandview up here. We've played at their place several times in recent years, but haven't hosted them here, so it'll be nice to have them up here, and we believe we'll be able to play those games on that Sunday afternoon at Pioneer Park.
And moving away from the COBA tournament, but looking at what your schedule is and looking at some of these tournaments, what games or at least tournaments kind of stand out to you, Rick, of kind of interesting ones that fans should take a look at or fans should show some interest towards, whether it's the Memorial Tournament, the Mustang Summer Classic? What are some that kind of stand out to you?
Well, one of the new tournaments on here is the Northern Colorado Border War. That's not actually our tournament, but we are the host team for the games at Powers and Pioneer Park. That's actually one of Alan Dyer's tournament in the Colorado Classic Series, and he hosted it last year, and it was in northern Colorado, and they decided they wanted to get Wyoming a little bit more involved in some of the north, so they called it the Border War, and Cheyenne is a host site of some of those games, and we will be playing on our home field, even though it's not our tournament. At least up through Saturday, games will be played at Powers and Pioneer, and the championship will be on Sunday somewhere down in Colorado. So that's a tournament that'll bring in some teams we haven't seen. That'll be that should be an interesting tournament.
We're talking with Rick Thompson, former head coach of the Cheyenne Mustangs, now with the Mustangs organization. Rick, you mentioned you're in the Denver League this year. You got 18 games scheduled with Colorado teams, and educate me a little bit. I know you're going up to Billings to take on the Expos this weekend. Looking at other states, South Dakota, Nebraska, Utah, do these states offer Connie Mack baseball?
Well, Nebraska has baseball that is available to us. It's primarily Legion teams, but they're all willing to play us. We did play Gering and Scottsbluff last year because we picked up the league games in Colorado. We couldn't quite.
So you had to do some sacrificing,
right,
where you could travel, to Utah or maybe South Dakota, whatever the case may be, because of this new league and this, because you got to get a home and away type of situation here with this Denver League. I was just curious because, with the Mustangs, I know one of the things that we talked about last year, trying to expand and try to bring in different teams or venture off to different areas to play Connie Mack baseball.
Right, and we got contacted by a team out of Montana that would like to play us, and they got to us a little bit too late, and it's something for next year. We just couldn't squeeze them into the schedule because our schedule was so full, but new team forming up there, and they wanted to play, and they were willing to come down, and so we'll try to get maybe a home and home with them next year.
How many games were you trying to get in place for this season?
Between 50 and 60, and this schedule right here, if you play just the minimum amount in each of the tournaments, is a 56-game schedule. If you go deeper, then in some of the tournaments you could play approximately 60 games with this schedule, assuming you don't lose any to weather.
Final thought here, and I know we need to move on here, and thank you in advance for coming in and chatting with us. As I mentioned to Ty here a week ago, looking at your team, and again, you know how young they are, the vulnerabilities that they have. What is the coaching staff looking from their pitchers? Are they going to be on pitch counts? Do you look 2-3 innings? Is this going to be their spring training this weekend against the Expos?
Absolutely. We got a lot of young arms, and they're going to stay on short pitch counts. The one thing you don't want to do is get some early season tendonitis in an arm because you extended a pitcher and then they're out for a few weeks. So we're going to keep guys fairly short and try to get a lot of different people on the mound and really get a look and see what they have for pitchers. Because a little bit is filling out who can get it done of the new guys. So, yes, they will be on short pitch counts.
Have you determined a rotation, and do you have a do the Mustangs have a bullpen set up? Do you have a stopper, and do you have a middle relief guy? Because, again, as we see now in the game of baseball, and it doesn't matter whether it's, Mustangs to the Rockies, do you have specialists that are a part of the Mustangs?
Well, I think some of the pitchers have been identified as starters already, and a little bit of that is to see how they do in the early season. I think other guys have been tabbed as guys that you would look to bring in relief. I don't think there's necessarily anybody there that I would say was a closer yet. And we really didn't have a closer last year. We were closer by committee mostly last year, and that may be the case again this year. But I think the roles will be determined as they start playing some games and kind of get a feel for who can do what.
I was going to say, your team didn't really need a closer last year. You're kind of whipping on everyone going at least through that entire summer season. But either way, though, as we will wrap things up, and again, looking forward to Cheyenne Mustang baseball again on the road coming up this weekend. First official games at Billings, Montana against the Billings Expos is Saturday and Sunday. But for the first home game at Pioneer Park, Casper Perkush come to town to take on the Cheyenne Mustangs. That is April 20th, that Saturday at Pioneer Park, 1 and 3 o'clock in Mustangs baseball. It's back.
Rick, thank you so much. Good luck to the Mustangs this season. And again, looking forward to chatting Mustangs baseball right here on 1480 KRAE. Take a timeout. We'll be back with more after these words on 1480 KRAE.
Are you looking for a pharmacist who will actually take the time to talk to you? Then come to Medicap Pharmacy. We're dedicated to healthcare only, which means we'll fill your prescription quickly, and then we'll make time to listen, answer your questions, explain your prescriptions, and tell you about possible drug interactions.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast. Only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range.
Is excess weight affecting your health? Have you decided to do something about it? The Weight Management Program at Consultants in Surgery at Cheyenne Regional Medical Group can help improve the health and well-being of people who are overweight and struggling with diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, and sleep apnea. Why wait? The time is now. To see if weight loss surgery is right for you, call 307-632-1114 or visit CheyenneRegional.org/weight-loss.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Good game, boys. You showed some real fight. Like when Wachowski put that hit on our own mascot. Solid work, son. Okay, Friday was for football, but Tuesday is for tacos. Taco Tuesday at Taco John's. It's a sacred holiday where we eat tacos repeatedly until I get full.
Save big every Taco Tuesday with crispy beef tacos for just 99 cents.
Get some rest, boys, because come Taco Tuesday, we olay the day.
Olay the day at Taco John's.
1480 KRAE is your home for live play-by-play coverage of high school basketball and football. Hi, this is Nick Brody inviting you to hear all the play-by-play calls of East, Central, and South football and basketball. You'll hear the conference action along with the postseason, and during the basketball season, 1480 KRAE features both boys and girls games. Catch all the exciting calls on AM 1480 KRAE, also streaming the games worldwide on the web at 1480KRAE.com.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on this show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480 KRAE.
3. Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Good game, boys. You showed some real fight. Like when Wachowski put that hit on our own mascot. Solid work, son. Okay, Friday was for football, but Tuesday is for tacos. Taco Tuesday at Taco John's. It's a sacred holiday where we eat tacos repeatedly until I get full.
Save big every Taco Tuesday with crispy beef tacos for just 99 cents.
Get some rest, boys, because come Taco Tuesday, we Olay the day.
Olay the day at Taco John's.
1480 KRAE is your home for live play-by-play coverage of high school basketball and football. Hi, this is Nick Brody inviting you to hear all the play-by-play calls of East, Central, and South football and basketball. You'll hear the conference action along with the postseason, and during the basketball season, 1480 KRAE features both boys and girls games. Catch all the exciting calls on AM 1480 KRAE, also streaming the games worldwide on the web at 1480KRAE.com.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on this show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480 KRAE.
With the Mustangs organization, joining us here talking a little baseball. Earlier we had TJ McBride on from Mile High Sports talking about Denver Nuggets as we get ready for the upcoming playoffs. Let's see. Oh, real quick here while I have the opportunity, and we were treated. This is why I definitely want you to keep this in mind, because it's not their first time that they've taken care of us, and our good friends over at Chick-fil-A, Ray and Cindy, along with Alex, who is their marketing person. Alex does a great job over there. And we did a little thank you yesterday to the entire staff that takes care of our sports here, football and basketball, and had a nice little luncheon. So, again, they put together their little tray of chicken
our entire
nuggets.
staff is 4 people, including 2 of us.
Well, and again, chicken nuggets. This is why I want you to go to CheyenneChicken.com and see the variety that you can have for your office, workplace. Cater. Again, they just do a marvelous job. So we had the chicken nuggets, we had the sandwiches, we also had their fresh made sandwiches on a roll. Also, they did for us yesterday the little tiny biscuits.
Mm-hmm.
So again, go to CheyenneChicken.com, and if you ever need honored as members of the 2019 NFF Hampshire Honor Society. University of Wyoming graduate football student athletes Nico Evans, Adam Filippiel, Nick Smith, and Andrew Wingard were honored yesterday by the National Football Federation College Football Hall of Fame as members of the 2019 Hampshire Honor Society. Evans graduated from UW with a 3.36 cumulative GPA in communication. Filippiel also earned his undergraduate degree in communications with 3.33. Smith achieved a 3.92 undergraduate GPA in finance, and Wingard earned a 3.22 cumulative GPA while graduating with a bachelor's degree in management. So congratulations to those former Wyoming Cowboys.
Which, again, some of those former Wyoming Cowboys, at least notably, will be competing down in Denver with the Broncos camp as, again, NFL draft closely approaching. Again, few Wyoming Cowboy hopefuls trying to make it into the draft. Again, looking at who is available from the Wyoming Cowboys who have moved on, will we see anyone that goes high up in the NFL draft, a 2 or 3 round? Probably not. But again, be interested to see of where some of the former Wyoming Cowboys do land, if it is in the later NFL rounds or if it's going to be picked up in kind of a free agency, possibly. Well, again, interested to see what happens coming up in the NFL draft with at least our local products.
More football notes to pass along your way, or a football note. Former Cheyenne Central graduate, and again, having a pretty good career as a student athlete at Cheyenne Central. He is now making his mark as a head coach. Matter of fact, he developed the Torrington Trailblazers from a team 18 years without a winning season into a semifinalist in 4 of his 8 years in Torrington. Well, he has now accepted the head football coaching position at Rock Springs.
Rock Springs, a team that's kind of been ailing. Again, Rock Springs not a powerhouse football team in Class 4A, but again, a smart move. Again, moving him up and introducing himself again, familiar with the Class 4A, familiar with Rock Springs and the Tigers. familiar with the Cheyenne schools against Central or East.
Well, even the 4A ranks.
Well, yeah, 4A ranks in general, but a good move by Rock Springs. We'll see what happens with the Tigers. Right now, to break down, even though we are, again, 4 months away from even action starting for Class 4A and at least for high school football, but Rock Springs, a team that's probably not going to be in there, at least they'll make it to the playoffs potentially, but it is a team that's on my radar as favorites or to move on to a semifinal or championship game. Probably not, especially with the likes of what East has right now. Thunder Basin still might be a good team. You don't know what to expect with Sheridan. Possibly Kelly Walsh could be up there. Natrona you can't disrespect. Again, there's a lot of teams. Who knows what's going to happen with Mike Apodaca and his Cheyenne Central Indians. A lot of teams I kind of put well ahead of the wagon before the Rock Springs Tigers right now.
They're going to be an improved team this year. They were not bad by any stretch of the imagination last year, so they're going to be an improved team. And but
they got a lot of climbing to do over a lot of teams, though, in Class 4.
It's understandable. Torrington under Lenhart went 46-31 after starting with consecutive one-win seasons. Trailblazers made the playoffs every year and finished with 5 straight winning seasons under Lenhart, including 3 seasons with 2 or fewer losses. Torrington made it to the semifinals 4 of those 8 years and to the state championship the past 2. In 2017, Torrington fell victim to Cody's Cinderella run, and last year Star Valley returned to the podium for its 3rd championship in 4 seasons at the expense of the Trailblazers. But again, taking the Torrington Trailblazers from obscurity and making them a perennial winner or an annual winner.
Well, hell, and even developing players out there where they've sent talent, whether it is on the D3 level, NA High A. We even have, again, from Torrington, at least with them, you have one offensive lineman over there now playing for the Wyoming Cowboys, so he's done well with Torrington, and obviously Rock Springs expecting the same thing there. Again, Rock Springs, a team that's kind of in that same echelon with Torrington of where, again, not a powerhouse football team, not really known historically as a good, at least high school for football sense. But is this hiring, is it going to be a good move, vaulting up to Class 4A for him and trying to revitalize Rock Springs into competing with the Casper schools, competing with Cheyenne?
Again, being a Cheyenne Central graduate, and again, Central, ever since I've been here, has always been 4A. So, again, he already knows what the competition is like.
I get that.
In Class 4A. So, it's like
it's different from being a player, but, again, head coaching in Class 4A, again, is he going to get a rude awakening? Probably not. No. He knows what he's doing, clearly, but that shift from at least moving up here to the top level of 4A and, again, competing against very good schools around the state. Is it something that is it going to take its – is it something that Rock Springs wants to win now, or have they kind of set out of, well, we understand that we need to build and that we need to get on those levels with East?
He's going to be no different than when we had Mark Puevin here. And Mark said the same thing, that he needs to, walk through the halls and talk to, people. Same thing with Mark Lenhart. He's going to need to walk through the halls of Rock Springs High School and get down to the junior high schools and say, hey, this is what we are going to do. Yeah. I'm taking this program in this direction, and I didn't come here to lose. See, and I think too that's the attitude he brought at Torrington. He didn't get hired on to lose.
No,
and he brought winning. A winning program with him.
I'm just saying, down there in the lower classes, it's a lot different than Class 4A of taking on some of these powerhouse
Don
teams.
Julian did the same thing at Riverton. He went from Riverton, did a little stint with the University of Wyoming, then went up to Sheridan. Look what he did.
Sheridan's a whole different beast than Rock Springs.
But I'm just talking about he went from Riverton, went from the Wolverines program to Sheridan. And again,
I'm just saying, though, Sheridan is that kind of diehard city, that diehard town where athletics kind of overshadows a lot of things.
And maybe he's going to bring that new air of, hey, this is what we are going to do. And
is it something where with this hiring Rock Springs is something that obviously, again, teams are not going to overlook the Tigers, but is it something where this is a team for us in the media, for others around the state to kind of look at and give them a little bit more respect with this hiring? Is it something that's going to be a team that could be a potential sleeper team to advance in the playoffs? I don't see it, especially where we saw Rock Springs last year, a team that was a mixture of young players and had some
and the hard part with
but
Rock Springs, they're on that far part of the west side.
We're
all focused on, we got 3 teams here, then we go to the 2 teams up in Gillette. You
got the 4 with Laramie including.
So, but I'm saying, so they're kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, where Rock Springs, at least back in my playing days, you had, at least for them, they had Green River as that rivalry in Class 4A. And then also, too, you looked at the far end of the west end with Evanston. So, yeah, they're kind of floating on an island of their own.
You can ask head coach Chad Goff what kind of rivalry they're having between the Tigers as of late, too. They've had some good battles. And then you also look at the Buell kid getting hurt.
Yeah.
At Rock Springs right there towards the tail end of the season. So, again.
that Buell kid who was a former Rock Springs product is now part of Cheyenne East, but that's, neither here nor there.
But I'm just saying, though, I think it's a good hire by Rock Springs, and I would expect Mark Lenhart to bring that same type of enthusiasm and bring some W's to the program that Rock Springs needs.
It definitely puts a good spotlight on Rock Springs right now of what this team is going to be like, not necessarily this upcoming season, but seasons down the line. Will this be a Tigers team that does eventually make it to the state at least championship? Is it a team that's going to be considered a powerhouse school, powerhouse football program? Again, only time will tell. And it's something where right now you definitely have to spotlight, give Lenhart his respect of what he's done, and anticipate that he'll do the same thing with the Tigers. But again, Class 4A, it's a whole different beast in the state of Wyoming.
I agree with you, and like I said, we'll look forward to the upcoming football season coming back to us here in
late
4 months in August. Yeah. All right, we're going to take a timeout, come back, talk a little baseball. He is now 0 for 53. Ow! We're back after these words. Join in for a festive evening of fun, food, and live auction in Cheyenne on Monday, May 6th at the historic Little Bear Inn, which is sponsoring the Love Never Forgets Gala to benefit the Wyoming chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. The event is being held to support the services provided on behalf of the nearly 30,000 Wyomingites affected by this relentless form of dementia. For more information, call the Alzheimer's chapter at 316-2892. That's 316-2892. Or visit First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue for your tickets. Remember, at First Tier Bank, you'll find the best rate on a 27-month CD with a 3.10% annual percentage yield. Right now, it's time to head over to Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service for low prices on outstanding RVs in Wyoming. Your local, exclusive Jayco dealer wants you to check out their closeout deals as well as their 2019 inventory of trailers, fifth wheels, and toy haulers. You can save up to 30% on select models with approved credit. You can find them at 6102 East Highway 30. Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service is a proud sponsor of LCCC men's and women's basketball, also our local high school teams too.
At Platte Valley Bank, we understand that you have a busy life, and that means you don't always have time to come to the bank. That's why we offer user-friendly online and mobile banking with features such as bill pay, recurring transfers, and mobile deposit, so you can bank how you want when you want to. Whether you prefer to bank in person, over the phone, or online, Platte Valley Bank makes it easy to take care of your finances.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC.
You can count on Platte Valley Bank. Community banking for you.
In life, you question everything. The same should be true when it comes to managing your wealth. What are your investment recommendations based on? How much are you paying in fees? And how can those fees impact your returns? Charles Schwab encourages investors to get engaged and ask tough questions. To learn more, call the Schwab Cheyenne branch at 307-459-0998 or visit schwab.com/Cheyenne. Charles Schwab and Company, Incorporated. Member SIPC. Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. Our Super Radio buys heard only right here feature Jack Daniels, Old No. 7 Tennessee Whiskey, 1.75-liter bottle, $34.99. Captain Morgan Spiced Rum, 1.75-liter bottle, $19.99. And Miller High Life or High Life Light, 30-pack, 12-ounce cans, $19.99. Town and Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
Otherwise, for today, cloudy and blustery with a chance of snow showers. Look for a daytime high of 30 degrees. Winds will be northerly at 20 to 25, gusting as high as 40. For tonight, mostly cloudy and blustery with our low drop down to 17 degrees. Northerly winds at 15 to 20, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, Friday, it's going to be partly sunny. Expect a daytime high near 35. Friday night, mostly cloudy with our low dropping down to 21 degrees.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing!
And it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Well, what do you say about first baseman Chris Davis of the Baltimore Orioles? We talked earlier about the A's, where he isn't that Chris Davis too?
What?
For Oakland?
Yeah.
He hit 2 home runs to be 9 on the season.
All right.
And he hit 2 last night. Well, you have
Good for him.
Baltimore Orioles first baseman Chris Davis. Record hitless streak is now up to 53 at-bats. As he went 0 for 3 today.
Goes from, years ago where he was hitting 50 home runs, having a phenomenal year, to where he's on par with the rest of the Orioles team of just garbage.
And he's in this is the amazing thing, if you haven't heard the story. He's in the 4th season of a 7-year, $161 million contract.
Yeah.
So break down the numbers there. I mean, the guy's making $23 million. Let me make
He's
sure.
making however much per non-at-bat.
$26 million a year.
Yeah, he's making, again, good money even if he's hitting the ball, or at least right now not even hitting the ball. So
he's 0 for 32 this season. He's whiffed 16 times.
Oh, well.
Talk about
I mean, it's on par with the Orioles, where that franchise is completely terrible. It's going to be awful. It's going to flirt with Miami as probably being one of the worst teams in baseball, I would assume. Right now, you hate to see it for someone like that, or at least for a player in general. Hey, you go through that massive slump, but, you can only assume that, hey, it's not going to last forever. It's just a matter of time of when he's going to find that first one. And again, that's going to be the ultimate kind of breath of life of going, oh.
Yeah, and I'll bet you that first hit will be a home run because he's just missing right now. Then on the other side of the coin, the guy's hitting $167 right now for the Mets, and that's former Cheyenne East standout. Former Cheyenne American Legion product. Post six.
There you go.
Brandon Nimmo. He's 6 for 36 to start out the year, so he's hitting $167. Out of those 36 at bats, he's whiffed 21 times already.
So having a rough year.
Brandon Nimmo. I mean, we're sitting here and we're looking at the Rockies and their slow start. We already know the Giants suck at the plate. Then you just pick out a couple of things here.
I was going to say the Rockies are no better. So if you're going to say the Giants suck, the Rockies suck too.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see who's the worst.
I give advantage to the Giants just purely just being at home. But right now, is this a series, at least focusing on the Colorado Rockies, where is this a road game or a road series where things turn around for the Rockies? It potentially could be. It could be where they could take advantage of that Giants, but that pitching has been pretty solid.
For San Francisco?
For San Francisco, the only issue right now is them trying to find offense. It's kind of what Colorado's running into of where is this offense? When is it going to spark up? Right now for the Giants, they have a pretty solid bullpen as well. They can kind of carry this team. What we're seeing with the Giants is what we saw about 2007, 2008, where you had great starters, great bullpen, but no runs. They were just not getting any help. How many games where we saw with Matt Cain where he was that ace at a point in time where he was putting on 2-run games, but the Giants only mounted up 1 run that entire time for Matt Cain, and he just kept on losing. It has that feeling right now with the Giants of they have the pitching's there, but the bats are just gone quiet. Now for the Rockies, again, running into that same issue, this is a team that eventually should come out of this slump. When that will be, who knows? Is it going to be this weekend? I think potentially could be. It could be, again, a divisional rival, a rival team that is, I guess where Rocky fans kind of consider the Giants as their main rival.
Rival, absolutely.
But is it something? Is this series where the Rockies are going to turn things up, change, and be the Rockies offense that we anticipate? Possibly. I just don't see it, though, because, again, the Giants, I don't disrespect their pitching, and I don't think it's going to slump.
And I think the Giants pitching obviously is a lot better than the Rockies right now, and the Rockies pitching has not been stellar as of late.
Yeah.
To the Masters, where Brooks Koepka is leading right now. He's 6 under par through 16. DeChambeau is -5 through 17. Then we got a tie for third with Poulter, Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson, lefty in at 4 under par. He is through 16. You're wondering where Tiger Woods is at. Again,
I'm not wondering. He's not winning this thing.
Well, and again, a lot of folks are pulling for him to get back to the Masters green jacket. They
did last year, and guess what he did?
He's 2 under par after day one.
He's not winning. I take the field over Tiger Woods.
That's fine. You do what you got to do. I mean, you're just a cynical person.
No, I'm not.
Sometimes you're not even fun to talk to.
I'm a realist at this point. Where again, you and the other ones who float above high with their heads up in the clouds. Where
we like to see the guy come back. And
you got to move on, and I think golf needs to realize that as well too. Where this guy is not the same Tiger Woods as he was. You need to focus on some of the other up and coming players. Again, they've been doing that. They've been trying to. They've been trying to get again. Where yes, don't disrespect those veterans and those who kind of built up PGA, but for golf right now, you need to focus on a McElroy. You need to try and focus on those
Jordan Spieth. I know there's a lot of great golfers out there.
I'm just saying this fascination, this love with Tiger Woods. I understand it, but it's something where you need to move on. He is not that guy that can carry this association anymore. He's not carrying golf anymore. You need to focus on the young talent that is hopefully going to take over his spot and be that face for golf. You need to build up. You need to find someone and build that guy up where Tiger was where he was plastered on Gillette ads or wherever. He was all over the place. You need to find that same youthful guy. Hopefully he's also winning, which has kind of been the tough thing right now. But again, Spieth has been somewhat consistent. You try to do it with McElroy, and he's kind of fallen off at least races. But you need to find that guy that can replace Tiger Woods to be the face of golf.
Well, you know what? And those that are listening to that might be, and McElroy, by the way, is 1 over par for day one. But, you're just looking at there's a lot of great golfers out there right now. That's why you don't have somebody winning the same guy winning every week, because on any given weekend it can be anybody winning. Ricky Fowler, Day can win it. Rahm, I mean, he's probably the newest sensation, the Spaniard. He's 3 under par after day one. Anyway, just getting into this, I would hope one day that Tiger can win one of these majors just to shut you down, shut you up.
Again, where we talked about this years ago, if not last year. Will Tiger ever win another major champion, at least tournament in a championship? No, I don't think so.
All right, moving along here. Last night, this had shades of last year written all over it again in the National Hockey League. Blue Jackets go to Tampa and beat the Lightning 4-3. And last year they went 2-0 before they went back to Nationwide Arena and then never won another game again. Yeah. So last night, 3 road victories to start off the playoffs. Blue Jackets beating the Lightning. Blues over the Jets. That one kind of
a little bit surprising.
That one raised my eyebrow. Stars over the Predators. That one raised my.
Called that one. I'm telling you, do not disrespect the Stars. Nashville is not that impressive to me. Dallas is that team where they could pull up this upset. I have more faith in them upsetting Nashville than I do Columbus taking on Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay will figure things out. Dallas, that does not surprise me getting that road win. And then the final, at least, contest of the night where
there's the other one, Islanders. This was kind of like
that doesn't surprise me
this
either.
Is the tone setter. This is the tone setter for this series, which could be 7 games. Isles and the Pens.
The only eye-opening game was Columbus of them winning, but we saw it happen last year, so maybe not too eye-opening. But
I thought the Sharks punishing the Knights was the eye-opener last night. I mean, 5-2. They got beat up.
No, Knights, it's something at least we haven't discussed, but other entities that I've talked with, the Knights do have issue with defense, with the net miners as well, too, again, trying to figure out who's going to be best. They've been trying with Subban, again, waiting on Marc-Andre Fleury, trying to get this all situated. But for the Vegas Golden Knights, that what happened last night, again, in the Shark Tank at SAP, I give all the respect to the Sharks. A team that has been through this so many years, they know what it takes. They've been to a Stanley Cup final as well. Sharks winning 5-2. It doesn't surprise me on a Vegas fan level. I didn't want to see that, but it's to be expected of San Jose. Offensive-wise, they're very good. They're very talented. They're very scary, and it's something where if you're ailing on defense, which Vegas is at this point, the Golden Knights, you don't stand a chance. And right now it's showing that they are not going to stand a chance to the San Jose Sharks if they continue like that and they don't step up things on the defensive side. But outside of that game where, again, every other team won on the road, Islanders, not surprising. Dallas, not surprising to me. Again, Columbus, slightly surprising against Tampa Bay.
And we'll see if that will be the early wake-up call for the Lightning.
I think it will be. Tampa Bay is not going out quiet. They should get things done in game number 2. Only time will tell, but Tampa Bay, that should be the kick in the pants for them to get things into second gear, get them going and saying, hey, we are the President's Cup trophy winner for a reason. Now let's prove it to Columbus that we're the best team in the AHL for a reason.
Tonight, the Bruins will host the Maple Leafs in Game 1.
I go Toronto.
The Hurricanes will have the Caps in D.C. And then the Avs and the Flames, we'll see, again, not to dismiss the Flames and the great season they had. I'm not going to, I'm hoping that the Avalanche momentum over their last 10 games continues on.
Flames have a bit of momentum. Yeah. They, again, it's a team that kind of had a chance to rest up until this point, had a bit of an ease. Will that be a downfall for them? We'll see what happens against, again, a very streaky, at least Colorado Avalanche team, a team that is a bit red hot heading into the playoffs, but at home, Scotiabank Saddledome, that should be a fiery place there. No pun intended with the Flames, but the biggest question in that series, and this Game 1 coming up tonight for the Avs and the Flames, what Flames team is going to show up here in the playoffs? We've seen plenty of Calgary teams where they get into the playoffs and they've had good runs, or they're feared teams, so to speak, and they do nothing. Now, will it be something that Johnny Hockey out there, will he take care of business? Will he be that shining star that everyone wants him to be in the playoffs? That is another question as well. Can he be it? Yes. But will he be it tonight? Who knows? You don't know what to expect with Calgary, and that's what scares me about this matchup. That should scare a lot of Calgary Flames of what team is going to show up. Will they be the first-round exit that they can be, or will they finally
get on the next side? And I actually think they will be. I just think the Avalanche right now are on a roll, and I think not just getting in by the skin of their teeth into the playoffs. I have a feeling that the Avalanche are going to possibly do the big upset here in the opening round.